Hey, here we are again at Life Skills, and I just want to, for a thought, remind us about why do we do Life Skills. You know, we believe here at Rogue Retreat that we need to constantly be learning and growing, and we need to be challenged with new ideas and learn new concepts. And we try to bring you guests, and we try to bring you ideas that maybe you hadn't thought about, or maybe that you want to think some more about, or expand your understanding in an area. And that's all part of Life Skills. That's why we do it. This one, though, we're going to talk about dreaming, and we're going to have an interview with Betty, who helped us really early on at Rogue Retreat become who we are today, and had helped us get some funding and helped us survive when we had nothing and we were deep in debt. But dreaming is a big deal. You're going to hear about Betty, who, when she was really down and had nothing, and she was homeless down in the Bay Area, she had this vision in her mind of coming back up here to Medford and taking this one building, which we actually own now, one on Riverside, and turning that into something for people who were low on income and needed a help and a hand up. And that dream carried her through to conclusion. She got it done. And I found that in my life too, when I can dream something, when I can actually visualize it, it helps me get there. And you may be needing the same thing in your life out there. You may be having some dreams and think, oh, I'm never going to get it. If you don't think you can, guess what? You can't. But if you think you can, you'll figure out ways to get there, and your higher power will get you there. So enjoy this video. Know that we have been built on dreams here at Rogue Retreat, and we believe you can be too.
We just get started here. I know we've been around a while, and I thank our guardian angel, Betty. Just tell me, I know I've heard some of it, about your road to your journey here to Seattle. I'm not Seattle, but
oh boy, we're moving.
but to Medford, Oregon. I know you come out of San Francisco, somewhere in there.
Okay, all right. Well, I was born and raised in San Fernando Valley, and moved up here in '59 to Medford. You know, because I was lucky enough to have some traveling jobs, and so when I drove through, come over the pass on, I was 99 then. I pulled over a little spot and slept the night because I too tired to go farther. And I woke up and I saw the Rogue Valley, and that's where I decided I wanted to live. This is for me. And so I come up here, just like everyone else. I went through some marriages that were abusive, and I developed PTSD and things like that from, and I suffered from some very severe depression at times. But keep me on track here.
How you got here?
My mind's getting 30 seconds long anymore.
That's okay. But you settled in.
Yeah, settled in. Yeah. And my husband and I, manage this large 2,400 acre horse ranch over in Davis Creek.
Wow.
And and we were on several thrill shows, horseback and car and stuff like that. McGraw's Tournament of Thrills is what it was called. And so we traveled all over and lived in the back of a pickup. We'd built a wooden frame and covered it with canvas, so that was our camper, And I have to wash the laundry after a show or something, and hang it up along the little 2x4s to dry. And invariably they didn't get dried quick enough before I had to roll them up and put them away. And my husband was always on me for damp socks. Oh well, so the abuse goes more than one way. That marriage didn't work out, but I had two wonderful children from them. They have grown up to be just a super cool blessing in my life. They're just generous and giving. They take their shirt off their own back to help somebody else.
Okay.
That's what I see in Rogue Retreat. That's that's what we've accomplished,
Mhm.
you know, and it's like, it's not a hand out, you know, but a hand up.
Thank
Your
you.
family's always been that way.
Yeah.
You know, like you talk about your children, but that didn't fall too far from the tree. You know, you've always been one that gives. And so they've learned that. They're the same kind of way. They give.
Yeah,
Um,
well,
you know, your story that always resonates with me, and Harold, I'm not trying to take over for
No,
you,
no, no.
but,
Go right ahead.
but I always think of her story of being homeless down in the San Francisco
Yeah,
area,
yeah.
and then
See-
dreaming about this place up here. I mean, what?
Oh,
How'd
yeah.
that happen?
well, okay, that's where I had gotten into my second marriage. My husband, he got drunk one night and fell off his mama's porch in Telleclaw, Arkansas, and landed on his neck
Oh.
and became quadriplegic. So we had him in the vet's hospital up there for recovery, you know, and in about a year I was able to get him back here, and we're driving this little old blue van. But he become quite abusive. I mean, physically, he regained some strength in his hands, but going down the freeway, it just beat me up, things like that, you know. So that's where the PSTD came in.
Yeah.
But so we ended up in veterinarian hospital down in the Bay Area, around Palo Alto and stuff, and so I didn't want to leave my husband, so I just slept in the car there. And then at the hospital, they were able to come up with some temporary housing to put me up for a little bit, like they did other. But you know, there's a limit to that. And so
Right.
I spent the rest of the time sleeping in the car, in the parking lot, feet stuck out the window, but nobody seemed to mind.
Yeah.
A short car, huh?
Yeah. And I got acquainted with some people that were helping the homeless. I didn't consider myself a tragic case by any means, but they were just really loving and sharing and helping with love and support and job finding and things like that, you know. And they bought me my set of tools so that I could work as a carpenter at this big company in Palo Alto. And so that eventually led to manage a hotel for the homeless. And so it was just, and before I had left Oregon, I had seen this old dilapidated boarding house in North Riverside, 525 North Riverside.
Okay. That old dilapidated.
That old
Yeah.
dilapidated place, and it was dilapidated. I mean, there was 2 restrooms for 11 units, you know. And so I always wanted to buy that someday, in order to be able to help other people like I've been helped. And and so the time came, I was able to come back up here after divorcing the abusive one, and you know, and hiding from him and family. And so I came back up here, and I was able to make arrangement to buy it on a private contract, and because I had able to save some money while I was down in the Bay Area, you know, from all the work I did there. And then and so I was able to buy that and move in, and I just started there was already a lot of people renting the rooms. I think I was getting somewhere around $150 a month for them then. But I kept on improving them. It's like every time somebody would move out, I just go in and rebuild and repaint and and just improve one apartment at a time. And it was looking pretty decent when you guys found me. But I remember that day I was working on another house on Ivy Street. My son and I was working on that. We loved to work together and we loved to build together. We have the same passions that way. And so you folks walked in and said that, I don't exactly remember what you said, but said something about somebody had told you about I might be willing to sell maybe my Grape Street triplex or something, or whatever. And I mentioned about what I had down there in Riverside. And so we worked out a deal, and and you took over Riverside. But one day I got this call. Oh, Chad. Love that Chad. He was working hard, but I don't know if we're gonna make it. So this gave me the opportunity to get involved again, and I loved it. I think of all my life, all the experiences, everything I've had in life was an understatement compared to the time I spent with Rogue Retreat, the people in the units, and working with you folks on the board and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the height of my life, And
Ours too.
The height of our life. I just want to kick in right there is that I remember we had come up against the wall, and it was raining like mad. And we didn't know what we was going to do. It was down to the 2 or 3 of us in there when Betty walked in, and the guy was wanting the money now or tomorrow. He wanted it last week for us being behind. And I remember you coming in and taking a look. And not only were you willing to put your time in and improving and working, you put your money where your heart was, right up front. Yeah, because we never could have made it without your money and your love for us. We was dead in the water.
I think she took pity on us, Harold.
I think she did.
no, I took pity on the people. No, on the people. I saw what you were doing, just exactly what I always wanted to do, and I didn't want to see that lost.
Yeah.
And
none of us did.
And I put a lot of cash into rebuilding that. I put $25,000 working on those apartments every day and hiring people to help and things like that. I didn't keep a tally sheet because it wasn't important.
Yeah.
It was just something I wanted to do to improve the lives and the opportunities.
And what an opportunity. I was just sitting here thinking, I passed out some things there. And it talks about 6 tiers in your dream. We used to be 525 North Riverside.
Uh-huh.
Now today we all the way down. Now we got a housing retreat, a restart retreat. We got haven houses. And what we got, 5 of those. Summit House, Cindy's House, Heather's House, Amy's Haven, Harold's Haven.
Named after who?
Harold.
Harold's Haven.
And then we got Hope Village, Foundry Village, Hart Village, Kelly's Shelter, and Campground. All from in one place, 525 North Riverside.
You planted a seed.
You planted the seed, and we've been recipients of your dream to see other people.
You
dream
guys had the same dream. We just we landed on the same planet together.
Yes.
And those early days, Betty, when we were trying to just keep those apartments running, and we got Albert off camera here, and he was helping us too. I mean, you were fixing stuff. And I remember we'd say, we got a leak in number 5 or something, and Albert would say, oh, well, that's because something's happening on the other side of the building in this room because it goes downhill to that room. And it's like, really? He knew where everything was. And we just tried to hold that thing together. But I can remember those days, and Betty's gut was always what we needed to go by. We'd have somebody want to rent a room, and they might have the money in cash in hands, and Betty said, "Oh, I remember that." And you were always right,
yeah,
Betty.
but you learn to trust your gut, and that's what got us through.
Our guts
I think
got
we've
us
got
through.
all of our experiences. It's soaked into a memory, and here, and here.
Yeah.
And at the time of need, we could pull on all of our own personal experiences to be able to decide. And we learned to trust our gut, And if there was a little growling in that gut, you didn't want to go, no, I think I will.
We'll pass this.
Yeah,
we'll pass this.
What an amazing story Betty has. And she's been someone that's helped Rogue Retreat so much over the years, and that I don't think Rogue Retreat would be the same without her, and it might not even be here without her. And we owe her so much, and we're so grateful for everything that she's done. But think about that story, and think about how she went from being homeless down in California to having a vision, and how she had a dream. And I think we can kind of talk about that, and just that dream that she had, and how that really affected her, and it's affected so many people. And it's affected me, and it's affected you now that you're a part of Rogue Retreat. And I think that's so powerful, that her dream and her vision, and even before that building on Riverside was a part of Rogue Retreat, she was doing the same thing, just not as a nonprofit, but just as herself, just doing what she knew how to do to help people. And I think that's so powerful. You don't have to be something special. You just have to have a dream, and you can make a difference in other people's lives. And I know for me that when I can look outside of myself and look at what I can do for other people and how I can help other people, it makes the stuff I'm dealing with and the things that I'm doing for myself a lot easier. It's a lot easier for me if I know that once I get past this trial, once I get past this problem, I'm going to be able to help other people, and I'm going to be able to do more. I think that that's something that we can take away from Betty's story, that she had a dream, and it wasn't just about helping herself. She had a dream and a vision, and she went through that, and she's helped Rogue Retreat more than any of us, I think, really even know. That's going to wrap up this episode of Life Skills. I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with another episode, and we're glad to be able to connect with you here every week.